cracking YouTube? It's me, your host Toon, aka the Comic Thug. Once again, bringing another comic book review. This time it's for Superior Iron Man, issue number 7. Let's jump straight into the comic. It picks up where the last issue left off, where Deep Below and Resilience Manhattan headquarters, and we see this old Iron Man suit, the Mark 1. Standing over top of Tony Stark, and Team Abomination, he's knocked out. He knocked out cold, and we finally get some answers about who this Iron Man is. Because in the previous issue, you know, he took off the front of his mask and it was empty and it was like a robot. So what it is this was a suit that Tony built 5 years ago when the black after he lost his mind to the Black Llama. Tony came up with a plan where he was going to put his consciousness into a suit just in case it ever happened again. And he basically backed up his mind onto the suit, and then he wiped his mind, and he told Pepper and maybe Happy Hogan not to tell him. So he wiped his mind so he couldn't remember it. Everything like this. And now this Tony wants to this Iron Man suit wants to get Tony back to normal, or basically replace him. That's part of the plan, replace him, because he doesn't like what he become. So, in the midst of this, they show outside of the room the symbiote Superior Iron Man suit is trying to get in, because Tony said his suit is always going to come at him. So the Mark 1 breaks apart, and then he becomes one with Tony, like, you know, the arms and the face and the helmet and the legs, they all separated, and just flew on top of Tony, and he took off. He took off, so he blasted through the Superior Iron Man suit, because, you know, it's the symbiote, so it can like reform and everything, and it heads towards space. And inside the suit, Tony says, "Where are you going?" Mark 1 wasn't built for space travel, and he says, "I know, I made some moderation, some upgrades." So the symbiote basically follows him into deep space, but his boots the blasters in his boots wouldn't fire off that far in space. So he basically lost. He blasts him and then takes off again. So we go back to Earth, goes back to the station he just left, and Resilience, and we see Pepper has Team Abomination and like a force field. So she tells him to calm down so they can talk, and she's gonna let him out, and she tells him that basically this is not Tony, and she knows that he respects and trusts and will die for Tony, but this is not the real Tony. She's trying to get back. The real Tony, just let her help him. So then we go to we're in a satellite, a space station in space, and we see the Iron Man suit, Mark 1. Let's just say Mark 1 puts Tony into this chair and put these tubes to him. And before they can start the process of either switching or try to get Tony back, Pepper gets on the screen and asks Tony, where did he get all the money from? And Tony says, I sold one of the dangerous ones. That's basically one of the plans that Tony has, he has 3 of them, I think, or something like that. He has a bunch of plans, different plans for doomsday weapons out there. And he says he's still on the plan. And they're trying to figure out what country or who did he sell it to. And Tony says, no, I'm not going to tell you, because that's the only thing that's keeping me, still me. So after some back and forth, we see that a piece of the symbiote is crawling up the Mark 1's back. And then Tony tricks Mark 1 into going in his mind. He says, if you want to find out information, find out who I am, then go into my brain and take a look around. So that does that. And now it's 2 Tonys, because, you know, the consciousness of the old Tony and the new Tony, they're in the same mind. And that's what Tony wanted. He wanted Mark 1 to go in his mind, because he basically just took over. He basically corrupted the suit. And now the suit is out of commission. I don't know if it's going to be for good or not, because the comic ends with Tony putting the suit back on, the Mark 1 mask back on, and says, I think it's time for me and Pepper to have a talk. And that's how the comic ends. So I'm guessing he's going to go back to Earth and pretend that he's the Mark 1. And he's either gonna pretend that he's a Mark 1 or he's gonna like act like he's back to his old Tony, so he can, you know, talk to Pepper or whatever. But all in all, it was a good book. I'm glad that I finally know like who was behind the suit, because I kept on seeing the suit for like the last 4 or 5 issues, man. I'm like, who is in the suit? And then even when they took the mask off, I thought it was stupid. I was like, oh, is it just a robot suit? But that explained a lot. Like, and I was wondering because the previous issue they were talking about the Dami Lama or the Black Lama, whatever his name is, one of the bad guys I don't even know, and I didn't understand why they put him in the previous issue, but now I know. See, it all's coming together. So I like when the stories come together. You just gotta take your time and be patient. But that was my review for the Superior Iron Man issue number 7. Let me know in the comments below if you picked up this book. And if you did, let me know if you liked it or disliked it. Leave your positive and negative comments below. Like, subscribe, share, follow my Twitter and my Instagram, which is in the description below. And as always, from me, your host, Toon, a.k.a. the Comic Book Thug, have a nice day.
That's all, folks.